Ambush is a man-to-man wargame developed by Avalon Hill. It was released under Avalon's Victory Games label and was developed by Eric Lee Smith and John Butterfield. In 1984, Ambush won the Origins Award for Best 20th Century Board Game of 1983. It has been out of print since Avalon Hill was disbanded in 1998. Ambush was innovative when it was released in 1983 since it was exclusively designed for single-player play. Up to that point, wargames generally required at least 2 players. This was necessary since a player always had to play and control the opponent. Ambush solved this problem by having the game's scenario itself control the opponent. It accomplished this via tables, charts and a paragraph book which the player referred to see how the opponent was reacting. Having the scenario dictate the actions of the opponent had another advantage: perfectly hiding the enemy. In all previous board-based wargames, chits or markers had to be placed on the board representing enemy units. Some chits contained question marks or otherwise hid what was actually on the space, but the opposing player knew where likely areas for the enemy were. With Ambush, the enemy had no markers on the board at all until they became visible. One drawback of Ambush's design was that it was difficult for players to create their own scenarios, since each scenario had its own complex set of charts and tables, each cross-referenced to sections in the paragraph book. Creating a scenario for the game from scratch could be a daunting undertaking. Players, then, were usually required to purchase Avalon Hill's expansion modules in order to play additional scenarios. Ambush could also be played with more than one player, with players playing in different squads or controlling different soldiers. Expansions. Ambush spawned several expansion modules: Move Out, Purple Heart, Silver Star. There was also a Japanese theater version of Ambush, called Battle Hymn, which had one expansion module called Leatherneck. Additionally, a solitaire game based on Ambush, called Open Fire, was released by Victory Games, which put the player in command of US tanks in WW2. It was less successful and had a less elegant design. There was, finally, a 2-player version of Ambush, called Shell Shock, released in 1990. Computer versions. There have been a number of literal translations of Ambush to the computer, including a Cyberbox module as well as at least one version for the Vassal game engine. Legacy. While not the first boxed solitaire board wargame to be produced, Ambush was probably the most successful. While the additional modules are testament to this successful design, the concept also appears to have been validated by Ambush, as a fair number of other purpose-designed solitaire games followed it shortly after. These include Tokyo Express, Open Fire, London's Burning, a solitaire game of the Battle of Britain, Solitaire Advanced Squad Leader,